Good morning. You're now listening to Kingston Community Radio, airing on FM 92.5 and AM 920 WGHQ, Kingston, New York. This programming is brought to you by our listeners and corporate underwriters who are interested in presenting local community radio. The opinions expressed on this program do not represent those of Pamel Broadcasting or Kingston Community Radio. Listeners are encouraged to send in $10 per month to help bring this program to you. Mail your contributions to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. For more information or to donate online, visit our website at mykcr.org. And good morning, this is Dan Gatis, and thank you for tuning in, sharing the morning with us. Tuesday, January 4th, 12 degrees outside. Let's see what we have on a PSA.
What is us?
Us is a foundation.
Us is the future.
Us is a bond.
But right now, that bond is fraying.
And we need a place that could make it whole.
From diabetes prevention to safety around water.
The Y fills the gaps.
And bridges our divides.
But they can't do it without us.
Donate today.
Because where there's a Y, there's an us.
Read by members of the Y.
The Y, for a better us.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Scott Harrington from Hurley, and I support Kingston Community Radio because the people need a place to have their voice heard, and it's lost in corporate radio, so please keep listening and supporting our station.
We will have a nice sunny day today. It's a high of 34, so it will, temperatures will rise from 13 to 34 today. Tuesday night tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low of 24. Wednesday, we're going to have a little bit of showers in the morning. There's about a 40% chance of showers in the morning, then cloudy throughout the afternoon. A few flurries or snow showers possible, of course. And Wednesday night, mostly cloudy skies will become partly cloudy later in the night. Thursday, partly cloudy with a high of 37, and Thursday night, cloudy. Snow likely, 80% chance of snow on Thursday night after midnight, low of 27. And this is WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM. And this is a terrific Tuesday. And we're unwrapping all of our coats and scarves and hats, everything to get here today. And it wasn't an enjoyable early morning trying to negotiate getting the car cleaned. And but here we are. And I'm going to pass it on to Nina and Cam in the on-air studio. Don't forget, our call-in number is 331-9255. 331-9255. Good morning, folks.
Good morning. Happy New Year, everybody. 2022.
2022. I'm already used to saying it.
I know, right?
It rolls off the tongue.
It does. It does. Oh, my goodness. Dan, how true your words are.
It was
frost.
Whoa. Yeah, I started my car early.
Mine said 12 degrees, my car. Is that about right?
Yeah. Yes, it was. It is correct.
But it's not bad, though. I will take weather like this. Clear,
12
crisp,
degrees and dry. Yeah.
Right.
It's better than 34 and gray and damp.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Absolutely.
Absolutely. If the sun's out, it makes all the difference.
It's easier to negotiate. Yeah.
It's a clear morning, and just that dryness. It's just, it's crisp. I don't know. I would take that over the other, but.
I agree with you. So did everybody have a good New Year's? Did you have a good New Year's?
Great New Year's.
Fantastic,
Didn't do a thing. Didn't leave the house from on
Good for you.
Thursday. I had Friday off. Our job gave us Friday off.
Yes.
But it's like Thursday morning, like 11 o'clock. I was lucky enough to get excused for the day, so I was off half a day Thursday, Friday. And I was off yesterday for our Elks drive-through dinner. I took the day off to prepare. So I've had a nice
Oh, 5 days.
4.5 day vacation, unexpectedly sort of. So it's been nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good.
And you? How was your?
Yes, mine was very nice. New Year's Eve, myself and March Gallagher were sworn in together, and that was really nice. And a little different doing it virtually. So I didn't know how that was all going to happen, but it was great. I mean, the sheriff did a really nice job emceeing it, and Tom DiNapoli gave a few words. So we were all in our respective places.
Thank you. But
Yes.
exactly my question.
I was.
He was respective too.
That's Sheriff Juan Figueroa.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, what a wonderful person. Great sheriff.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, New Year's Eve is when we were sworn in, and that night he was going to go on the road patrol from midnight to.
Really?
Yeah, he every year for New Year's Eve he does that, and actually he actually said it. Paul Van Blarcom started that tradition, and then he continued
The
it.
sheriff himself.
Yes,
Yeah,
being
that's
out
cool.
on New Year's Eve.
Giving one of his deputies a night off.
Yeah, and him out patrolling. So it was really very, very nice. And Judge Rounds did a great job swearing us in. So, and it worked out fine. And I had to say shout out to March Gallagher and her staff because they did all the technology hookups. So they did the Zoom meeting, and then they did the live stream on Facebook, which was great. And they recorded it, and it's up on YouTube now.
That's cool.
So yeah, it was nice. And
Congratulations.
yeah, thanks. So.
Congratulations or condolences?
No, congratulations.
Congratulations,
I'm happy.
yeah.
Another 4 years.
What would Ulster County be without Nina?
We'd
thank
be a
you,
lot
Dan.
less organized.
I really
Thank
mean
you.
it.
Thank
Less
you.
organized.
Less organized.
Now,
Yes.
it's just a 4-year term, right?
It's 4 years. Yes.
Are you eligible for retirement after
I-
this 4 years?
I'm actually, I hate to say this, but I'm actually eligible for retirement right now if I
Really?
wanted to
Wow.
retire.
Wow.
Because I have 42 years in, so a lot of time. Yeah.
You
But
are probably one of the longest tenured county employees.
yes, myself and Dennis Doyle.
Really?
Dennis Doyle's.
Dennis, really? Wow.
Yeah. So I'm 42, and I believe he's 45. He came 3 years
Wow.
before me. So we're the two.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, amazing.
Like the top of the tree, the top of the county employment tree, whatever.
Is-
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Is Dennis Doyle's position also elected?
No,
Okay.
he's appointed. Yeah,
He's
so
an
he's
engineer, right? He's the
he's
engineer
a
for the
planning.
planning department,
Yeah,
right?
he's the director. Yeah, planning. Yeah, he's been there quite a few years. And then yesterday I had the opportunity to swear in our new legislators. There's 8 new legislators, so I
I
swore
saw that
them
headline. Tracy
Yeah.
Bartels is probably going to be the new.
in. Chairman again.
Yep.
She was once before, and we wish her the best. And we have a phone call.
Good morning, Carl. You're on the air.
Good morning.
How are you? You're on the air. How can we help you?
Good. Is Nina there?
She is.
I am. How are you this
Hi,
morning? Good
Nina.
morning.
How's the family?
Good. How are you?
Good, okay.
Good.
What a nice, wonderful family that I've known for a long time.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And Cameron, is Cameron there?
I sure am.
I graduated with your dad from high school.
Oh, wow.
Very nice man.
Well, thank you. I think he's a great dad. And
I'm only
grandfather.
40 years old, too, and I graduated with your dad. I went forward. I moved forward.
That's right. But
There you go.
Timelessly, though.
Well, I'm an honorary member of the Kingston Recreation Commission, and I support the Kingstonian. I've been on the Recreation Commission as a volunteer only 52 years.
Oh, congratulations on that. 52 years.
52 years. A Deep Stadium Commission for 37 years. Many other commissions. I never got paid. I couldn't buy a new BMW with the pay I got from these commissions.
Thank you for your service,
Sure,
though, your community
thanklessly,
service, yes.
Thank you. Well, I think the Kingstonian, it's an improvement. It'll help our city more than any project probably in our city's long history. It'll help the business in the area, give us a place to shop, eat, live. Also be a number of jobs with the construction of the Kingstonian, a number of jobs after Kingstonian is built. Some of the opponents to the Kingstonian say that the developers are only interested in money, putting money in their pockets. Brad Jordan is a leader of the Kingstonian. He has contributed so much to our community. He's a strong supporter of People's Place, Boys and Girls Club, family. He has Christmas parties for the poor youth of the city. All the Christmas trees he sells at Herzog are given to the Boys and Girls Club. So I think that the leaders of the Kingston are not interested mainly in the rich and getting money. Brad put in a baseball field at Kingston Plaza. He built that all himself at his expense. The kids all play on that field free. There's no charge. He has a traveling baseball team that he formed for underprivileged kids. It's sponsored by Brad. He paid for their uniforms. They travel all over the East, paid for their equipment, their food. They stay at nice motels, the underprivileged children. He pays for their lodging, all related expenses to help the team compete. The parents of these children are always appreciative to Brad for his generosity in helping the kids, keeping them off the streets. He provides clothing to poor children in downtown Kingston. He saw them standing, waiting for the bus. He bought them cold. It was winter. He bought them all sweatshirts with hoods, keep them warm during the winter months. He's done so much for our poor children in downtown Kingston. He's not just rich and interested in filling his pockets with money. He's a leader helping underprivileged children in Kingston and poor.
They're the whole entire family for generations has had
Absolutely.
a huge history of philanthropy. Absolutely.
You couldn't have said it better.
But back to the nuts and bolts. Yeah, I agree with moving forward with the Kingstonian. It's a wonderful plan. And, some of the opposition, I can understand some of their points and where they're coming from, but, there's a bigger picture to look at, and we have to move forward. As a community, we have to move forward. We can't stop development just for the sake of stopping it,
Cameron and Nina, that I'm simply a lifetime Kingstonian. I'm not an officer, I'm not a developer, I have nothing to do with the Kingstonian. I just remember uptown Kingston years ago. It was a modern beehive of activity. Many tourists, shoppers at busy stores. It was the center of Hudson Valley, Kingston.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I remember well.
Yeah,
and you've lived here. You've seen people come and go and changes, and it's not a bad idea. So let's move forward with it.
Now I go up there, uptown. It makes me feel sad. I mean, it's fallen so far. It's slipping. We have to do something uptown Kingston. We can't just let it lay there and deteriorate, get worse.
I think the other developer that is being an obstructionist, keeping all those buildings empty uptown, is a worse problem than anything the Kingstonian is going to be. Honestly, the Sione building sitting there still, the Woolworth building, Yalom's, that's terrible. They're just sitting there.
And you know what it was years ago? Maybe you two don't, but it was the center of Hudson Valley. The stores there, the businesses, the restaurants, everyone came to Kingston and the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
Now there's very few people come to Kingston. We have to do something.
Well,
sit there and watch it.
and one last thing about the Kingstonian, I can see it from my house. So
that's right.
A lot of these people that are against it don't, can't even see it. They have to get in their car and drive to it. So
you're right there.
Period. End of sentence. That's all I'm going to say. So. Thank you. The best way, sir, to, make your voice heard, letters to the editor, talk to your city council people, county legislators, let the advocates need to be as loud as the negatives. So,
yes.
Please keep up your positive.
Call the Board of Elections. Maybe you're not sure who your alderperson is. You can call the Board of Elections, 334-5470. 334-5470, and they will tell you who your alderperson is. They'll give you their telephone number, their address, and people in the wards can contact them and tell them they are in favor of the Kingstonian.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's very
definitely. You're
important.
absolutely right. Let your voice be heard. And you couldn't have said it better about the Jordan family and what they do for the community. And like Cameron said, and you said, I mean, years and years, generational, that they've been giving back to our community. So I think your words were really well spoken. And for people that are listening out there, follow the advice. Reach out to your alder person. Reach out to your elected officials. Let people know how you feel. Because as Cameron said, the opponents have a very large and loud voice, so let the advocates also have that loud voice, too.
Public hearing will be a week from tomorrow.
Yes.
George Washington School, a public hearing on Kingstonian. Please attend and make your opinions known, whether you're a proponent or if you're against it. Come to the George Washington School next Wednesday at 6:30. It'll be mostly talking about the road, the Fair Street Road down the hill.
Yeah.
Right.
There'll be a pedestrian plaza is most of the valuable parts of the project in between the street on Fair Street Extension. It's going to be a place for public gathering for area residents. There'll be visitors. It's going to be an entertainment space, meeting place, public restroom. There'll be kiosks there offering information on the historical venues of Kingston, the Senate House, the Stockade area. Some people say, well, it's going to ruin the Stockade. It's going to help the Stockade. It's going to tell the children what the Stockade is, tourists, and all of us in Kingston.
Yep, we totally agree. So great. Well, thank you for your call.
Yes,
we
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. And, keep pumping that positive message out there and let your voice be heard.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Cameron.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, and
Thanks
Happy
for
New
calling.
Year.
You too, both of you. Bye-bye.
All right. There we go. Well said. So,
Very well said. Absolutely. And,
honestly, I use Fair Street Extension. I live on Fair Street. I'm not going to be too happy that it's closing, but the greater good is going to be served, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So,
absolutely.
I admit there's a couple aspects I'm not happy about, but the greater good is so much better. Anyhow, enough.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm moaning and groaning over here.
I know. I was worried, Dan.
had a lovely,
We were on alert.
We were
alert.
worried. We were going to have to do the show ourselves.
I was on the radio for a minute. Do at work all day. When you're alone, you got it.
You don't have to worry.
No background noise. Had a very successful meatloaf drive-through dinner yesterday.
Oh, I bet that was delicious.
It was pretty dang good, if I do say so myself.
And a perfect meal for a cold January night, right?
Yep. Poor Denise Welch was the outside person last night.
It was cold last night.
Very bundled up, and whether like that or this, even this morning, makes wearing face masks almost a pleasure.
It does, right?
It does keep you warm, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Yes,
exactly.
it does.
It's like skiing. Wearing a face mask when you're skiing. It's nice.
Yeah, it works. It definitely works. It was cold last night. I stopped on the way home to put gas in my car, and by the time I was done pumping my hands,
freezing.
yeah.
Yes.
And I had gloves on. It was cold. So God bless her. That's true community service right there.
I had to go to Restaurant Depot yesterday morning to get 25 pounds of ground beef, and to shop there, it's there's no push carts. It's like almost like a bellhop. Like you go to a hotel and the bellhop has those long skinny racks with like an overhead shelf. You can hang your clothes, put luggage. They're like that, but like industrial. And they're outside, so they were freezing.
Oh.
And then the walk-in, half of Restaurant Depot is a walk-in cooler that's like big. There's like 10, forklifts in there. It's huge. I mean, the walk-in cooler there is as big as Hannaford.
Oh my gosh.
That's the walk-in. That's just half of the building. The other half, the shelves, the dry goods, whatever.
I think every restaurant makes at least a couple runs down there every month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Because sometimes with the purveyors, if you don't have enough for a minimum order or you need something that certain companies don't carry, you have to go other places or whatever. But pushing that rack around, talking about cold hands, was ridiculous.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, my gosh.
Halfway through shopping, I'm like, why are my hands so cold? I was like, oh, yeah. The metal
nice
bars.
metal, yeah, right.
And you have to steer because there's people there, there's other carts, there's things, and, I was like, wow, that's gripping this pipes is freezing.
And I think we aren't used to the cold either, I have to say, honestly.
Not
It's
yet.
been really beautiful
We've been
winter so
lucky.
far, so this hit us very quickly, and yeah, we feel it
But
more
it's
than
trending
normally.
warmer, as Dan has said on the radio. You know, the cold isn't ridiculous the next few days.
Right, yeah, so that's a good thing. And we missed the snow. So the East Coast had quite a storm.
I have
yeah.
friends. I have a Kirsten Dwayne. Some of our listeners might remember the Dwaynes. Well, Mari's still alive. And Cassie. Kirsten, she's lived in South Lake Tahoe for 25 years. And they got pounded.
Did they?
Like 16 feet of snow last week. Literally, 16 feet of snow fell in the
16
northern Sierra.
feet.
180 inches. I mean,
That's where you gotta have an exit for your house on the second floor,
Yes,
like in Maine.
yes,
you know,
you're right.
You know, a lot of houses
That's
are built
true.
with
very
second
true.
floor
And if it's drifting,
doors.
Your whole side of your house can be buried.
Absolutely.
And
16
another buddy of
feet.
mine lives on the other side of the Sierras, in more into California, like the Squaw Valley side, sort of. And so, same thing. And posting pictures. Whatever. It's unfavorable.
Yeah, the amount of
16
snow.
feet of snow in a week.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it followed a more southern route, and we missed it all. I mean, New Jersey got good snow.
Yeah, they did.
D.C.
And
did
the Midwest.
Yeah, D.C., yeah.
And how about those terrible fires in
Oh, yeah, Colorado.
1,000 houses burned to the ground? That's 1,000 houses. That's like half of Kingston.
Exactly.
Yeah, terrible.
That's
Absolutely
tragic.
horrible.
Very tragic.
Yeah,
very
destroyed.
tragic.
100-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, I've been in the windiest I've ever been is on the top of in the middle of the winter on the top of Mount Washington a couple of times, climbing it.
That is a good
And
place
that's
to find wind.
That was
Top of Mount
highest
Washington,
wind
yes.
speed ever
In
recorded
New
up
Hampshire,
there.
yes. Mhm.
I've been in like 80-mile-an-hour wind, but that next 20-mile-an-hour, like in your 100-mile-an-hour winds pushing flames like that.
I can't even imagine it.
Nightmare.
The winds themselves are what's causing the wind. I mean the fire itself.
No, yeah, it could have been knocking over a tree, knocking over a power line. A flicked cigarette. I saw in the paper that somewhere they found footage of a picture of a shed on fire, but they're saying they don't know, haven't determined yet. In the neighborhood, they said,
Starting
this fire started in this neighborhood. Somehow they found footage of a shed on fire, but they didn't know if it was before or after. Shed fire started the wildfire lit the shed on fire, and that was the first evidence of it or whatever. So
Right.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
My son started, speaking of that, which it's a terrible natural disaster, but they're going to need linemen and workers out there.
Oh, he started lineman school
lineman
yesterday.
Yeah. And he is going to be the first class. Don, I forget his last name, the guy that owns and runs the Lineman Institute of the Northeast. He was a gentleman that bought Xena School.
Oh, okay.
When those other developers had wanted to make whatever they were doing there, and then they threatened to put in a religious thing there and whatever. So Don, whatever, moving out of it, he outgrew his space in the old KTB facility up there.
Yes.
So they moved. They're in the process of moving. Classroom and stuff is in Xena, but they're still doing some of the practical stuff, and they haven't made a pole yard yet at Xena, which they probably will be doing with the kids, setting poles and.
What a great use of that school.
Yeah, absolutely.
A school and probably an industrial center for his company.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
good.
he's hoping to get some other schools in there,
Yeah, because the facility is perfect for
educational,
educational,
educational
purposes.
things. Yeah, he wants to create like a hub, education type.
Trade
like
education.
a trade
Yeah.
hub type thing, yeah.
Oh,
which is
definitely.
freaking brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, there's 40 kids in his class. Most of them.
Oh, that's a big class.
Yes, Maine. Not a lot of locals.
Oh, no.
No. There's one guy that he's talking to, a 36-year-old guy from Maine with 6 kids. He's looking to advance his career, and Pennsylvania, Jersey, Connecticut.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's
Northeast,
all, yeah.
It's the Institute of the Northeast.
So there probably is not that many schools.
Only a couple of them in the country.
Yeah,
for the exact certification that you need in order
Correct.
to get out there and do the work.
Yeah, some utilities, like big utilities, do that for themselves, but they
Right.
don't. If they put you through their school, you got to work for them. All those other companies, Jaffer Electric, big electrical contractors that need lineman stuff. They
Sure.
there's no other way to get them. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
great.
cool, I'm very
And
he's
then
excited.
once he completes it, he could work anywhere in the United States, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He'll be his level of training is he's like apprentice level in the union. His uncle Shane's going to help him, go because the local IBEW around here is out of Syracuse.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and Shane and being a lineman for so long and those people, so he's going to introduce him into the union, propose him into the union, and whatever happens, and
That's
start him
great.
from there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
fantastic.
yep.
How long of a program is it?
4 months. It's I forget 400 hours of classroom, and then there's practical. Outside of that, he aced his CDL and air brake test.
Oh, fantastic.
Actually, the woman who administered it, he got like almost a perfect score. He only missed. He was like, super,
Oh, I bet we don't see that very often, so I bet they were
yeah,
very
and
impressed.
That's what the woman said.
Yeah,
I
we
guess she
don't
was like,
see that
"Oh,
very often.
nice job." We don't see this too often, or something exactly like that.
Yeah.
So he was like proud of himself. Which
Oh,
he
that's
should have
great.
been,
He should, absolutely.
It was cool.
Good. So he's on, and I know at the end there he was getting bored. Being out of school and working part time. So now he's that's great.
But friends, just female friends too, or off at school or
Sure.
wherever their respective places are. So he only had a couple chums to hang around with last few months. So since school started in September, so.
Right. Oh, well, we wish him the best of luck. Good for him.
Yeah, he doesn't need luck. He's a smart kid. So.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great.
So electricians out there in Radio Land, if you need a apprentice level lineman trainee in April or May,
there you go.
that'll be available. So
all right,
shoot me a line. We'll have them apply for the job.
Yeah. So we have a busy schedule, right? This morning we have Heidi Kirschner coming at 7:30, and then at 8 we have Bill Merchant, who always has quite a bit of information for us from the D&H Canal. And then at 8:30 we have Nancy Chando from Friends of Historic Kingston.
I don't know. She texted you too. She's calling in today. So
She is calling in today.
Yeah.
Yes,
she has an interesting topic.
she does.
I've never heard of any of this. Kingston Schindler, the quiet hero of World War II, Laszlo Ockskay. Ockskay, that's how I'm saying it. Ockskay. So that's going to be interesting.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, absolutely. Nancy is always amazing with the topics that she comes up with and the subjects.
Always prepared.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
a great guest.
Extremely prepared. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that in the next, hour and a half, which will be
by
great. And I
fast.
know Heidi's starting a new year, and I want to talk to her a little bit about, we had the Sojourner Truth dedication of the exhibit in December, and Ashani, who did the whole portrait of Sojourner Truth, was a very integral part of that exhibit and so forth. So we'll talk a little bit about the youth farm group and what they've accomplished this past year. Absolutely amazing. So look forward. Hopefully she'll be here at 7:30, and we could talk a little bit about that, which will be great.
She always has a lot going on at the Y.
Oh, yeah. Y is very, very busy. So, everybody now is really starting the new year. I know Dan Whalen, being on the board, the Boys and Girls Club, he's really excited, opening on Saturdays. So he's in the process now because they feed the kids, right?
Yep.
So now he's looking for businesses or restaurants that are interested in maybe donating. Saturday meals. So
Wow.
any of you that are listening and would be interested in that, please, you can contact myself or you can contact Dan at the Boys and Girls Club. There's approximately 30 to 40 kids each Saturday.
Is there a kitchen enough at the Boys and Girls Club where if, they could prepare meals there? Like if,
You could.
someone provided food or whatever, money or,
or if you're a chef and you wanted to
volunteer with the kids or something?
you could.
That could
Yeah,
happen?
absolutely.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do that.
That would be great.
Oh my gosh, the Elks could do that. I got to write that down.
Oh, that would be a great thing.
Elks. All right, I got to write this down. I don't want to do it on the air.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
Yeah, that's for sure.
A little cooking there. I'd love to do that.
That would be fantastic.
We could make like a soup or something, and
yeah. Oh, great idea.
I like that.
All right.
Something quick, sloppy joes, tater tots. Salad for lunch. Easy. The kids can you can get. I like that idea. I'm gonna work on that.
All right, that's great. See, I had to say a little shout out to the Elks.
Oh my gosh, the Grants, Billy Pine, you listening? Grants. Oh gosh, this is so awesome. It's tying all together.
Yeah.
We can do a program because some other time I can explain. But there's so much grant money available through our national foundation.
Right.
And if you have projects that Elks are involved with kids or veterans or whatever, they practically throw money at you. And this is screaming worthy of an Elks grant.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Elks going in, providing food and cooking, the monetary part, the man-hour part. Holy cow, this is so awesome.
Great.
Sorry if I'm brainstorming live on the air, but...
That's okay.
That's what it's all about.
Radio,
that's what
man.
talk radio is about.
Local radio.
There you go.
BMG Club.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, well,
sorry
Dan,
to blather on, but it's not blathering. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is.
Why don't we go to break?
Thank you, Nina Postupack and Cameron Rylance, for this first quarter of our terrific Tuesday. You're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio on AM 920, 92.5 FM. My name is Dan Gatus. It's Tuesday, January 4th, and 12 degrees outside still. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom. I had no idea how hard it would be and what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and ways for me to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics, but also information about the hurdles I was facing.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Shirley Stabe from Kingston, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
All right, it's now 12 degrees here in uptown Kingston, and there's going to be plentiful sunshine today. It's going to go up to a high of 34 degrees, and partly cloudy skies tonight with a low of 24. And Wednesday, showers in the morning. It's a 40% chance of showers in the morning, then cloudy in the afternoon. A few flurries or snow showers possible here and there. It was a high of 41 on Wednesday. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy skies early, becoming partly cloudy late. And then Thursday, partly cloudy during the day with a high of 37. And Thursday night, cloudy. Snow likely after midnight with a low of 27 degrees. 80% chance of snow Thursday night. You're listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM. This portion of Kingston Community Radio is being brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union. 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston is their main office. Let's get back to the on-air studio with Nina Postupack and Cameron Rylance. Welcome back.
And we are back.
Thank you, Dan. We are back.
I'm fleshing out my idea that we closed off this last segment with.
Yes.
I think there's a great possibility for...
it's quite a synergy there.
Synergy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not coordination, cooperation.
Integration.
Integration. I don't know. Whatever.
Working together.
Working together.
There you go. Right.
Did you see that sad display of
Antonio Brown?
Antonio Brown's psychotic break on Sunday?
And, I had to give Tom Brady a lot of credit there because, he really said, hey, listen, the guy needs help. He has some mental health issues.
Obviously.
And he really needs to work through them, and hopefully, obviously, it's not going to be with the team that's going to happen. But there are a lot of resources, right, through the union, the NFL organization itself, and so forth. So hopefully,
a whole lot of money in the bank in his career too. So
yeah. So hopefully, he'll get the help that he'll need.
But
and do you think Tom Brady? Go ahead.
Could this be like CTE? You know, from
Could be.
getting wonked on the head 1,000 times since he was started playing Pee Wee football and wherever he was from.
It could be.
That's something scary. That's a little scary.
Yes. There's a lot of research being done on that. Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct. It is frightening. Absolutely. So, how I know sad situation with Antonio Brown, but I really believe Tom Brady waits for those last 2 minutes. He lives to go down that field and win that game.
If you're a Jets fan, you were so happy when he left New England. Like, yes, we don't have to play him twice a year. He's not going to beat us up like he has for the last 15 years. He's gone. He's in another division, another league practically. And he still comes back into your home turf
and does it again.
I know Jets fans everywhere. He's just got to be like that son of a gun.
We're coming from Long Island, and we're listening to it on the radio. And Dwayne and I both said he's going to go downfield and he's going to win this game. Yep. You watch and see.
Too much time was left.
Yeah, enough time for him.
Even with no timeouts, he had like a minute 34 or whatever it was. Like, okay, turn it over, walk away. Jets fans just go start crying now.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. And
so.
Sure shooting.
He did. He absolutely did.
He did exactly that.
Yeah. And the Giants will be put out of their misery next week.
Terrible.
Their last game of the season. Thank God for the fans, for all of us. Yes. Stop the pain. So, and I can't believe, right? We're starting to get to playoff time and Super Bowl and which we can't say on the air, I guess. But
technically, no, I believe you're not allowed to use the Super Bowl.
Okay, and we have a
caller.
Good
morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, you two. I wanted to wish you both a Happy New Year and the listeners of the great, terrific Tuesday program. This is Tony Marmo.
Tony, I recognize.
How are you?
Tony,
Good.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I wanted to, Nina just mentioned, I'm sorry I didn't attend your swearing in or watch it, but I heard it was terrific. I heard you did an amazing job with your acceptance, and so I wanted to thank you for all the work that you do for every citizen in Ulster County.
Thank you, Tony.
Part of as county clerk, and you're amazing, and I just wanted to go on the air and state that.
Thank you.
And Cameron, thank you for all you've done for KCR and your community support is amazing. And I wanted to give a shout out to Dan Gatiss, who does a great job every day. He's there, very professional. So, just wishing everybody a healthy, number one, happy and fulfilling 22.
Oh, thank you so much.
We all thank you. We all thank you, Tony. Thank
This
you.
is the man who never sleeps. This is the man that is on the other end of the phone here on the radio that gives 120% to this community. I mean, just amazing between Rotary, Italian American Foundation, his actual Norman staffing and his work.
Hours he spends in this room.
Yes, for KCR. And I mean, the list goes on and on what you do, Tony, for the community. And as we enter the new year, I know you haven't slowed down one bit. You've taken on more responsibilities. So thank you for all you do also.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep going like Artie Johnson, like the guy that was bicycling on Laughing, and then he, the bicycle tilts over, and that's when I'll stop. When I'll do my tomato garden and, whatever, play with the concrete or something.
You go.
But I love doing what I'm doing. And I'm like the folks on this show and, everyone part of KCR. This is a volunteer effort, and we're just bringing the message to the community. And thanks to the Maxwell family for keeping this format on the air, and the underwriters and the listeners who supported the Happy Christmas Fund in KCR this year. Nothing short of amazing. So it's great to be part of the family.
Absolutely, so true, Tony. And I know Tony's been. Are you still on the board of the Y? I know you were on the board of the Y.
No, I'm actually. I had to stop something, and it was a very difficult decision for me to make. But I am still involved with a committee on the Y involving some expansion thoughts that they have into Dutchess County. I don't know if that's out there or not, but
we have Heidi Kirschner just walked into the studio. So, so Heidi's here to tell us what's happening with the Y.
I'll let you go.
All right, well, listen, at 8 o'clock, we have a big birthday announcement at 8:05. So
thank you, Tony, for all those New Year's greetings. Thank you for the greetings.
Thank you, Tony.
All
Absolutely.
the best. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad you got the memo about the black face mask.
Yes,
we all have
yes.
matching masks
That's right.
today, right?
We do. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you, too.
Yes, and hopefully a healthier New Year. And so we need to be mindful of that and, keep that in our thoughts and move in that direction. So,
Yes. Did you travel over the holidays?
I did travel.
How was that? I was wondering.
Actually, I did travel on Thanksgiving as well, and it wasn't nearly as bad as Thanksgiving. So,
good.
That was good. But we traveled on we selected odd times, so possibly it wouldn't be so crazy. Had concerns about whether I would be able to return or not. But everything worked out okay.
Good.
And, just masked up really good and kept ourselves protected. And so it turned out okay. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I know a couple families in Kingston that returned from vacation all sick.
Oh, really?
People we all know. Both of the families that are sick,
Wow.
Yeah, all of them tested positive and mild symptoms. They had all been vaccinated.
Well, this variant is highly contagious. And so, I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So I think the best thing to do is just, be prepared. Encourage everyone to get the vaccinations because that really will lessen the impact. Keep yourselves healthy. Try to get sleep. Try to get exercise because exercise introduces oxygen into your system, which is a healing agent. Also works those lungs, that the coronavirus tends to try to attack and makes them stronger. So, just be prepared. This is a highly contagious variant, and I just think it's going to whip through our community and our society really quick. It's demonstrating that.
It is, yeah.
So, and even, vaccines don't keep you from getting it. And so this mask thing that we all truly love wearing.
A day like this, it wasn't too shabby, I gotta tell you.
This morning I run in the morning and it was really cold this morning and I said, well, I have no problem wearing a mask anymore. I mean, I wear a mask for my cycle classes and everything else, so I'm quite used to wearing it now, working out. So, yeah.
Open that cold air.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's good.
Well, welcome.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks like you have a lot going on there.
Yeah, you have quite a agenda there.
I brought this in because, my message to everyone is, take a stand and, commit to trying to do something for yourself and making yourself feel happy and healthy. And so, of course, I'm coming in from the Y, and of course, I'm a big advocate for the programming that's at the Y. And so this year, we're really mixing it up. We've got some great things going on to try and encourage people to come. I mean, you do have to wear masks at the Y, but you get used to it. There's walking, but there's all different kinds of classes. Now, for those folks who possibly may not want to do this, we have a lot of other virtual classes going on as well. And some that might be kind of interesting to some young women. We have some virtual pre- and post-natal yoga programs. So it's kind of cool. I mean, if you're pregnant, and I'm telling you, there are days when you're like, it's this, being able to do some stretches with a natal yoga instructor really do help you feel better, help the baby relax, and and then you'll feel better. So there's those opportunities that you can sign up for a series of classes where it makes you feel better. And this is virtually, so you don't have to feel like you're exposing yourself. You can do it in the comfort of your home. We have a great instructor who's very calm and wonderful.
So is that a live class?
Yeah.
So it'd start at 10:30 on next day.
Yep.
Okay. It's something that you could like log on to and do
Yep.
at any time. It's
Yes.
that's cool.
Yeah. So
and is there interaction?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yes, because it's a live
you can
class.
ask questions like,
yeah.
I don't want to, if I do this or.
Yeah, because if you sign
really
on
cool.
through your computer and stuff, and maybe through TV or whatever, the instructor sees everyone because she's going to have a roster who signs up. So she's going to see everybody, and you put your name in. She'll see everybody who's on the screen. We've been doing it since the beginning of COVID. And so she can kind of direct them, for, stretching and what they're feeling to, feel more comfortable. So
really, virtual is convenient because if you're a mom, right, or you just had a newborn baby, to be able to do it from the comfort of your home is huge. I mean, you can plan your schedule around it as opposed to having to worry to get to the Y and back. So that's a great thing.
It's pretty nice. And I, like I said, our instructor is really, really good. And it's really reasonable. There's classes, I think it's 5 sessions. And it's, you're talking about $10-15 a session. That's nothing for a yoga class. And it's an hour class.
And it's something you can do forever.
Yeah.
It's forever knowledge.
Yep.
You've been taught the things, whatever.
And it doesn't, it's just it's in the month of March, so it's March 1st through the 29th. It's 5 sessions, so it's a quick month.
Yep.
You can see if you like it. It's not going on and on and on and on, and if whatever. So it's a nice way to, just kind of go through a class.
For a month, you could be pre and postnatal. So you
there you go.
Double your bump. It's like 2 classes in one.
If you time it, and then we also have Reiki level 3 training, and that's available in person or virtual. So that's, of course, there's 2 prerequisite courses that go with that, but we've offered them before at the Y. So, and that's really nice because it's with a certified practitioner. And so you get to, learn that as well. And the one I really like, which is great, it's and this is a virtual class as well. It's a family yoga.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about, going in, getting into the Y or whatever. And it's a nice time. It's kind of like before dinner time. It's 4 to 5 on Tuesdays. And again, there's 5 sessions. And, you just kind of with your family and your kids, you kind of have that, okay, let's calm down. We've gotten back from school. We've done our stuff. Now let's just kind of stretch and relax and, get ready for the evening. And so that, again, and it's really nice bonding with the family. I've seen family yoga classes in person, and I know that they're great, especially, if you have a good instructor. And so it's kind of exciting to, have this opportunity to do it virtually. And again, for families, it can be, mom and dad and kids. It can be just dad and kids. It can be mom and kids.
Yeah.
It could be, your grandma or whatever.
It's a great way to introduce children to, a lifestyle or a fitness goal or, incorporating it into the young life. You know? So
definitely.
Great. So it's a lot of fun.
When does that start, Heidi?
That one particular one starts, you have to register by January 21st, and it runs Tuesdays, January 25th through February 22nd. In winter time, to get yourself stretched out and all this other stuff. So that's good. But then we have a lot of other new programs coming on, and we have a bar burn program, which is we have a great instructor doing this. She comes out of New York City.
Ballet, bar.
And then it's like a mixture of Pilates, yoga, and dance. And so you really build your strength, your flexibility, coordination. I'm probably going to give this one a whirl, except I'm going to try to be in the back of the class because I am not at all graceful. So, but, again, this is just, trying to...
Now, is that like a discipline, or is this a ballet person trying to, you know what I mean?
It's actually a person, yes, a ballet person, but she's got all these other certifications, and what she's doing is melding it together and picking out aspects of those different classes like Pilates, yoga, and dance. I think it's a great idea.
That's almost
Yeah,
like
that
a
is a great
Tai
idea.
Chi, like she's combining, and if so, if that's like her program, she should think about
trademarking
or
it,
something,
yeah.
protecting it, because
She might. She might have, but I'm saying this is a great. I just, personally, my goal this year is to, number one, drink more water, because I don't drink enough water. I'm always active and doing stuff, and I should drink more water, and just really focus on, strength and flexibility. And that means more stretching, more yoga, and dance is a great way to, improve your flexibility. So,
I'm looking at the flyer there. It's saying that the first part of the class will be doing mat work.
Yep.
And then the second part of the class will be standing and utilizing light weights.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting too. A little
Yeah.
bit of different, types of exercise all incorporated together, which makes it. Sometimes if you're doing the same thing for an hour, wonderful and great, but you can start to get a little bored or whatever. When you're mixing it up like that, that's great. I mean, it makes the hour fly by, and it's a nice way to exercise.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, she, has worked in fitness dance for years, 30 years as a matter of fact. She has a background in Laban-Bartonoff movement analysis and experiential anatomy.
Whoa. And when can we take that?
So this class starts on Sunday, January 23rd, and then on the 30th. So there's no registration required. It's just kind of, let's go see if people like it.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is.
So, and that's, it's a Sunday at 9:30 in the morning. So after you kind of wake up, stretch out, just roll over and head into the Y for some nice classes. And then we have our basketball clinics coming up starting January 29th, and these are really popular for the young kids.
I was just said they're youth clinics.
Yeah,
right?
these typically we get up to 100 kids, and
Whoa.
we're lucky we have a couple of gyms that we can spread out in. And they, it's for the kids, young kids 3 to 12, and they can learn the fundamentals of how to play basketballs. We have a lot of great volunteers. This is funded through a grant, but we do have volunteers that work with the kids. They're really cute to teach them about techniques.
Kids are broken up into smaller age groups, right?
Right. Yeah, it's not necessarily fair for a 3-year-old unless you're a really good 3-year-old.
And that's open to everyone, right?
Yep.
Open to public?
Yep.
Registration and fees.
Right.
And that sounds.
I don't believe there's because it's a grant. There's no fees.
Fantastic.
So that's what makes it
I
great.
have to register.
That's great.
Yeah, and you do have to register, and all I can say with this is capacity is limited it will fill up fast.
Yeah.
So
This starts when?
This starts on Saturdays at January 29th and runs through the first week of March.
So get on the phone now.
Yeah.
Register now.
Yep. And so, we've had a funder who's funded this for, I think, 6 years now.
That's great.
And just enjoy the results of it. And then we have our basketball leagues coming up. So the men's basketball league coming up. So register for that. That starts in February. And then our teen boys basketball league, that starts in February, but you have to register now. And then lots of indoor classes with yoga, qigong, rowing. If you'd like to try some rowing, there's a good introduction to that. And then if you really like it, you can move out to the water with the Round Out Rowing Club, perhaps in the spring. And then some strength, and of course cycle classes, and then of course all of our indoor stuff. So,
What was the second one you mentioned, Heidi?
Qigong. It's just a type of strength and stretching, and how can I describe it? It's I'd say it's like similar to Tai Chi. But it's just another style, yoga. So, all good. And then we also have a cool thing.
I saw that. You glazed right over that earlier.
So this is non-contact boxing. But let me tell you, we have Donna Smith. You don't want to mess with her. And it's a 5-week session. And you just learn the fundamentals of boxing, like your technique. And if anyone truly wants to get in shape, boxing is, ghost boxing is a really good way.
One of the hardest workouts.
We have a young guy who also has done boxing instruction, and he was at the Y the other day, and he was jumping rope in our hallway, and it was just like, it was so funny to watch him. He was like, jump, 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 left, 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 right, 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 and he was jumping all the way, all the way down the hall and doing these things, and I was like, wow, I wish I could do that, and it's just, that's what they work you on, and then your technique, and it's really good cardio. It's really good for your upper body and your arms, toning. Good for timing. You'll work with the bags. So I mean, you have to learn the big bags and then the speed bags. So that's a lot of fun too. If you ever thought you wanted to just get that skill.
Stress reliever.
Yeah.
Big time, as well as an incredible workout.
Yeah, you can put that imaginary face.
Yeah, your boss's head on the.
Yeah. So I mean, it's all meant to have a good time and get healthy.
Are those classes?
These are at the Y. Sorry. They're going to be, so these are Sundays.
Oh, okay.
So these are at 10:45 to 11:45. So you could do the other one early and then move on to this.
Yeah,
and
then it's before football, so, you won't
right. That's right.
Playoff games or anything.
So this goes from January 15th to February. There is, again, a small fee for this. But not a lot, and so
a lot of these classes that you say don't require special equipment for the participants. You don't have to go out and buy gear.
Well, this particular one says what to bring: water towel, boxing gloves. So I don't know if we have any we could lend in a jump rope.
That may be an exception, but the
barrets. Oh no, those all and we have all the equipment.
But I'm saying they're not. You don't have to go buy special suits or different shoes or whatever. So. They're, I don't want to say inclusive, but they're easy to do.
Easy to do, absolutely. So, and then we also have a wide variety of other virtual classes. Like we have one of our instructors who does a lot of seniors like taking her virtual classes. It's like a sit and get fit kind of class, and don't let that distract you. The sit and get fit is not easy. I've taken that class, and I'm like, wow, this is a good workout.
Now, is that a seniors thing, or is it
mostly? But anyone can take it. The goal is to challenge yourself to improve your health, and take some classes. And then when you start feeling good in those classes, you've accomplished something. And then you don't want to stop. I mean, at the beginning of COVID, I committed to myself that I'm going to become a better cyclist, a good cyclist. And so I took cycle classes. And I won't stop now because it took me all that time to at least somewhat stay up with the instructor, and I won't give that up. I will not give that up. So it's good. And so challenge yourself to walk more, drink more water, do some classes that are different, that forces your brain to think differently. Do it with a friend, and we'd love to see.
Those are good gift ideas, too.
Yeah,
right.
Gift ideas.
Yep, and do it with a friend, and come down, and if you're interested in why, we'd love to have you there. We'd love to see you, and try to get you interested and become active and. Do some things.
We're going to test the waters, too, before jumping in with a membership.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, and I have to tell you, go on our website right now. We are doing a program where you can do a 1-week membership just to try it out. You sign on, you can get your membership all online, and then you can just try it out before, you even have to go and get a membership.
I'm sure you're starting to think about summer camp.
Summer camp is going blazing well already. We opened up our registration.
Oh, registration? Wow.
Yeah, at the end of November. Whew. And I would say we've already got probably 5 to 8% of our registration done.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So people are already thinking about the summer months.
Oh, you have to.
I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either.
I mean, if you are in a position where you need summer camp for your children, you have to think about it. You know, it's a daycare, it's a child care issue. You know, you always have to think about it.
So so there's just
Lots going on.
A lot going on, for yourself to make yourself feel better, and we got to get through this whole thing that's going on, and put your best foot forward, help each other out. Absolutely. That's all I can recommend.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to get it. Yeah, it's perfect.
Very good
Everyone
advice.
needs to do it. Mask up and vax up. So
Yeah.
Right.
that'll help.
All right.
Heidi, just maybe give the phone number.
Sure. So the phone number to the YMCA is 845-338-3810. And our website is ymculster.org.
And you can sign up for any class online as well,
Yep.
right? Okay, fantastic.
Yep.
That's great.
Absolutely. And and our pool is going great. And if you want to join the swim team for the back half of the year, you can call us as well.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Suit up and hit the water.
Absolutely.
All right.
All
Heidi,
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Heidi.
you. Thank
Dan,
you.
take us to break.
Thank you, Heidi Kirschner, YMCA, here in Ulster County. And thank you, Nina Postupack, and thank you, Cameron Rylance, for bringing us up to the 8 o'clock hour. And you are with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio has been brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union. 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston is their main office. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, I'm your host, Smokey Cole Bear, filling in for Smokey because after 75 years of...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Turns out there's much more to say. Nearly 90% of wildfires are caused by us humans being careless, dumping our used barbecue coals willy-nilly. Guess the song was wrong. We did start the fire. That's why I respect Mother Nature and her trees, whether coniferous or new car scented. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Eleanor Arrow from the town of Ulster, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
You're listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, the home of Kingston Community Radio. My name is Dan Gatis, and it is 8:02 a.m. right now, and it's 13 degrees here on this Tuesday, January 4th. This morning's program is brought to you by Robert Baum Commercial Realty, located at 79 St. James Street, Kingston, New York. Visit rgbaum.com for more information. And plentiful sunshine later on today, a high of 34 degrees we get to, and partly cloudy skies tonight with a low of 24. And Wednesday, 40% chance of showers in the morning and then cloudy in the afternoon. Few flurries or snow showers regionally. It's very, very possible. And Wednesday night, we have a low of 29 degrees, become partly cloudy later. And partly cloudy in the morning on Thursday, high of 37 degrees. Thursday night, expect a little bit of snow overnight. After midnight, there's an 80% chance of snow accumulating 1 to 3 inches. And let's get back to the on-air studio for all of our festivities at 8 o'clock. Welcome back.
All right.
Hey, Dan.
It is the 8 o'clock, which is time for the Boyce Brother Dairy Milk House birthday cow pie giveaway. However, when I look at our folder, it's empty. So we can't give away a cow pie.
So
However,
empty.
we want to introduce, or I have a very special
You
birthday.
do have a very special birthday.
You can't win a cow pie, so that's why I'm doing it after the cow pie giveaway. I want to wish you a very happy, I don't even know the number, but it's a magical number, I'm sure. But anyone that sees Dan Gatus today, go out of your way to cross the street and yell out your car window, wave at him, knock on the
Absolutely,
restaurant
okay.
window.
birthday.
Happy birthday to Dan Gatus today.
Okay,
birthday,
thank you.
Dan.
Thank you very, very
It's
much.
your birthday. You know what? We're ringing the cowbell anyways.
There you go.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you.
many more.
Thank you, Cam.
Another
and thank you,
lap around the
listeners,
sun.
too. Okay, yep. And here's
gonna
Bill.
get dizzy counting all those laughs, right?
I know, I'm getting dizzy.
Okay. So, without further ado, or delay rather, Bill Merchant is on the phone with us. Bill, good morning. How are you, man?
Good morning and happy birthday, Dan. I'm sorry I'm not in person to wish you, but
Oh, thank you, Bill. Thank you. Yep.
yeah.
You won't get any of this delicious birthday cake we have here. Oh, wait.
Oh, darn.
You can't see it on the TV.
You'll save
never
me
mind.
some for next month, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the windowsill and freeze
We'll
it.
save a piece for you, yeah.
So how are you? Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Well, likewise to both of you. I was honored to see Nina get sworn in on Friday again.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations. We're lucky to have you.
Thank
You
you
did
so
such
much.
a great job for the county.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your watching. Thank you so much. And I know you have been busy starting the new year. Yes,
indeed
right.
we
You've
have.
been busy starting the new year with the museum and looking forward to the grand.
Grant money too. You
Yeah.
just got. I saw. Right.
Yes, we got a NISCA, New York State Council of the Arts grant for operating expenses, which is very rare. We nonprofits, nobody likes to give you money to keep the doors open for some reason. I don't understand why, and it's a constant complaint amongst us. So we're really honored that through Michelle Hinchy's office, we got a grant for $49,500 that'll just help pay my salary amongst other things. So I couldn't be more pleased.
Now, that's what you. Aren't most museums and culture institutions not for profit, or what you just said? That seems weird.
Yeah, we're largely 501c3 entities. Yes, I was actually at a strategic planning event for one of the grantors. I think it might have even been NISCA, and one of the big complaints amongst all the different cultural organizations was that nobody gives you support for just operating expenses. But that's a little glib because in fact I went full time because of a NISCA grant that initiated just before COVID. I was very fortunate. March 1st of 2020, because of a NISCA grant, it took up one of our part-time positions and made it full-time. So I've got nothing but praise for NISCA in the state of New York, and I have a feeling some of this money probably came down from the federal level in this latest round. But we're very fortunate to have. I haven't seen the list, but I know there was a bunch of cultural organizations that all got some of this support, and Lord knows we all need it.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty broad array of grantees. From
Yes, it
theater,
was. Yeah.
theater group, whatever. It was nice to see. It was well dispersed. So, congratulations. Keep writing those grants. But it's funny,
Yeah, I haven't kept track. We've raised a decent chunk of money now, 1.6 maybe million, but we still need more. So if you're out there and feeling like giving, I know it's after the first of the year, but you can still get a deduction.
Yeah,
but we're kicking along. The electricians are in the house completely. The building just needed a complete electric overhaul, and so we're in the midst of that. Most of the painting's done, and we're looking forward to installing exhibits later this month.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So we start.
And your projected
we are
date
on
of
track.
opening, Bill?
Go ahead.
Your projected date of opening?
We're still saying spring 2022. May or June, I would say. Okay. We are having a big. I must have mentioned last month a big fundraising dinner at Mohawk Mountain House on June the 12th, honoring Bob Enderberg. We're doing it in conjunction with Open Space Institute. Bob, of course, is a vice counsel for Open Space and has done more to save open space in the Hudson Valley than anybody I know. And nobody's ever gone out and honored him, so it's long overdue. Bob is the chair of our advisory board and just a great guy. And so we're looking forward to. So I have a feeling that the opening will be sometime before or around that But we're slated to have everything in place by the end of April, and that'll give us time to kind of, get a sense of what things are. We've got to take pictures. We need a brochure, but we don't have anything to show anybody yet, but, anything too substantial.
Yeah.
Empty, beautifully painted walls.
Yeah, well, it's nice in its own right, but, it's going to take a while before you can flesh out that PR brochure with nice photos. So,
we're going to try and have it ready with just the blanks for pictures because it'll be such a tight time frame to get it together. But these are the sorts of problems you'd like to have, right?
Yeah, exactly. You usually got technicians to show up. There's a lot of things out there that are waiting for people to show up to work. So, good.
No, we've been very fortunate. All our vendors, they've had some snags with supply chain, but New Paltz Electric, Gavin and his crew have done a great job on lighting up the building and getting all the electric in place. 42 Design Fab is a exhibits design fabricator in Massachusetts. They're on track. When we've got Christina Perwerda and Paul Arcelli, who are the designers and overseeing the installation, the construction and installation of all the exhibits. But it's going to be a really exciting, compelling attraction to the area. In our Mid-Hudson Visitor Center, we've been working on an interactive map that'll be in the Visitor Center. We have 100 local attractions in about a 50-mile radius that will be, basically we'll promote for free through our Visitor Center.
On that,
we're working on it.
When you say interactive map, like a touch screen, high-tech type thingy, or?
Exactly. I think it's a 76-inch screen with a big tablet. I forget the size. So you'll be able to go to this screen and you can select via geographical area. I think we've divided it up into 8 sections, or you can go by type of attraction. And I think we've got 8 different attractions from cultural organizations, historic sites, art museums, a few private enterprises, cideries and wineries, because the state's been really celebrating. We're kind of leading in that department. It's interesting to see how the Hudson Valley, when it comes to things like libations, we resemble the 19th century again, where you've got all these small cideries and breweries flourishing, and distilleries for that matter.
Yeah.
After Prohibition, all the people with money basically had the laws written in such a way that it was really hard for small producers. But the state of New York kind of led the way about a decade ago in allowing small farms to start producing again, and it's a real attraction for the Hudson Valley. We all know tourism is our biggest industry, and I always want to point out cultural tourists, I think, spend 2.7, I believe it is, times what the average tourist spends. So we're a net, provider of economic activity for the county.
Additionally, that keeping agriculture land for agriculture, provides open space. No farms, no food. Period.
Right.
We've all seen the bumper stickers, but it helps preserve, quote unquote, our way of life up here. Cornfields and apple orchards and vineyards. They need clean air and water, and the stewards of that land are going to advocate for that, which is good for everything in our valley here. So
yes,
the tourists spend money.
Shout out to Open Space Institute, who's done more to protect that kind of land. They don't just do hiking land and stuff. They protect agricultural, and it's what brings people to the. It's why people love the Hudson Valley, and we don't want to lose that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the tourism is our number one industry, but it's probably because of agro-tourism, I'm going to say. So, both those things to me have to exist hand in hand.
Right.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So, very exciting, despite the little hiccup of Omicron, and boy, COVID's still a thing. We all thought we'd be past this by now, but
I know.
Here we are.
Yeah, it's
circling
true.
the wagons again.
Yeah, rearing its ugly head.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, but hopefully by the spring, and the summer months, we'll be through this, hopefully. But like we were saying before, everybody's vaccinated. Keep getting vaccinated, and use your mask, social distance, and just stay safe and get us through these winter months.
Yep. Hopefully, we're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But I think we felt that way a couple months ago before Omicron. At least the Omicron hasn't been increasing hospitalizations considerably, from what I can see. And they say that they're on a peak here in America the middle of this month. So sit tight, everybody. Just keep masking up.
Yeah,
being smart, you know.
Mask up, vax up. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
So historically, let's see. It's early January. Anything happen in and around this time, D&H Canal wise?
Well, I mean, January 7th was the day that the D&H Canal Company raised over $1 million on Wall Street at the Tontine Coffee House.
That
first $1 million private enterprise in American history. They oversubscribed $1.5 million worth of stock, over $40 million in today's buying power, before 2:00 in the afternoon, simply by proving you can burn anthracite coal.
And that was 3 days from now, right? So it's almost.
That's right. Yep.
What year was that?
1825.
1825.
Oh, so almost 200 years ago.
Yeah, wow. That's cool.
Well, yes, and the Delaware and Hudson Transportation Council is working on a series of events to celebrate the 200th anniversary.
That's cool.
Actually, we'll start next year because the earliest, when the Wirtz brothers first got permission from Pennsylvania to exploit the Lackawaxen River to move coal, that we look at that as kind of the beginning of the D&H company, you know, which had a huge, some people say it was the most successful stock in the 19th century. I haven't parsed that, but it was in the old landmark listing, the most successful company in America. It was a stock. I do know it paid over 30% on its stock during the Civil War in 62 and 63, I think it was.
Wow.
30% on their stock.
Wow.
30%? That's...
Yeah, wouldn't you like that kind of return?
That is unheard of. Huh. Why
they were a really innovative company and a very, you know, important American story, as I always like to point out. It's not just a regional, you know, it wasn't just about getting coal from northeastern Pennsylvania to the Hudson River. It was actually getting fuel to all of America. Certainly fueled the Industrial Revolution. I always want to point out, you know, at the time when this story starts, America's really just everything east of the Appalachians. You don't start to see Western settlement until later in that century, you know.
Late 1800s.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. After the Civil War.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
The big Western expansion, like, you know, the wagon trains, that was all late 1800s, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I always feel like the Erie Canal started opening up. The Erie Canal gets you an efficient means. You know, the cost of freight goes from what cost you $1 costs you only 10 cents on a canal. And the Erie Canal, so the Erie Canal is another one of those things. It opens in 1825. It gets you to Buffalo, New York, but, you know, that was the middle of nowhere at that point. But really, because it got you to the Great Lakes, it gets you to Chicago. It gets you to the middle of the continent. There wasn't much other than indigenous people and crazy French-Canadian trappers west of Chicago in 1825. So that the Erie Canal really started that westward movement by giving people a way to get halfway across the continent. Not that all of them did it, but, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing how much territory the Great Lakes opens up. You know, you don't think
Right.
of, you know, you think of westward expansion, you know, the Transcontinental Railroad, wagons, trains, all that. It's not. It's really maritime. It's boats. You know, boats. It's kind of weird.
Well, that's why, you know, canal fever, the 19th century, canals were the most efficient way to create transportation infrastructure here in North America. And so there was just scads of them. It was the way to move stuff. As I say, you know, who can fight with cutting the cost of freight from $1 to 10 cents when you can, you know, that's a significant number and really stimulated a lot of economic activity, opened up a lot of land for, you know, now you no longer had to just sell to your neighbors or convert stuff to things like whiskey or, you know, things that would keep. You know, the whole thing about whiskey was it was a way for farmers in the middle of nowhere to save their crop and make money off it. If you couldn't get your crop to market quick enough, you figure out a way to turn it into something keep. In fact, whiskey gets better the longer it ages, doesn't it? It's really a beautiful thing.
Well, that's an interesting concept. You don't really think about
how
cider, hard ciders or preserve. Yeah. Huh.
Well, you know,
you couldn't get your whiskey to market or your wheat to market before it spoiled, so you made whiskey out of it. That's a
yeah. So, you know, Pittsburgh area, other side of the Appalachians, the whiskey rebellion was all about being taxed for the only thing they could do to make money. You know, they were converting their grain to spirits, And then if you're going to tax that, all of a sudden it's an unfair burden on these people who already did, they didn't have any way to get, the only way to get their product to market at that point was, on horrible, muddy roads. So, our history is steeped in spirits.
Yeah,
right.
A certain way. Alf Everett talks about how, here in the Hudson Valley, a big apple producer, second biggest apple producing region, New York State after Washington State. Everybody had apple orchards. Everybody made cider. They drank the cider. When the cider turned hard, they still drank the cider. When the cider turned to vinegar, they still used it.
Yeah.
According to him, in the fall, you'd fill barrels with apples and they'd sink them in the rivers underwater, and then they'd retrieve them in the spring. And so that they would basically free cold storage.
Oh.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Right?
Huh. Well, you don't know, but they purportedly they were still edible, or did they turn to something beside apples?
No, they were still. Think about it. I bought apples from local producers in the spring, and what they have is they've got cold storage.
Yeah,
they've got.
They do.
You can't freeze them. I don't know what the exact temperature is, but it's in the 30s, I think.
Yeah,
and,
you're right.
They'll
huge.
keep throughout the whole winter,
Yes.
just as fresh as when they were picked.
Yeah. Huh. That's right. Yeah, potatoes.
But,
too.
the old timers had a way without. They didn't have to refrigeration. It hadn't been invented yet, but they knew what to do. Fill a barrel, sink it to the bottom, and just don't forget where it is.
Yeah. Tie
right,
rope to
yeah.
it. Yeah. Huh. That's interesting.
Ingenuity is an amazing thing. It's the American way.
Well, that's like Latin cooking from South America. Chili, peppers, and all that. That wasn't necessarily because they liked spicy food. The capsicum, whatever, retard is a natural retard. It slows food spoilage. So using this hot spicy.
Yeah, that's why so
peppers,
many tropical foods are very spicy.
Yeah, it's not because they liked hot food. It's because it
preserves the meat.
Yeah, which I kind of blew me away when I learned it. But it's a similar thing, with the converting.
I never knew that.
Making whiskey because you can't save the wheat and whatever.
And I think that I could be wrong on this, but hot peppers, that's from North and South America. That's from the Americas.
Oh, yes.
They spread out, so they're not in Chinese cooking until these plants are discovered in America after the 17th century.
Yeah, well, that's like what the Italians did to the tomato. They perfected it and then
they
send it back to the New World, whatever. Right?
Yeah, right.
Well, of course, tomatoes people thought were poisonous.
Yeah.
It's nightshade. In fact, the leaves are poisonous.
Yeah.
For the longest time, people wouldn't eat tomatoes because they thought they were bad for you.
Yeah, but then and then same as pasta. The Chinese invented pasta, and the Italians did a wonderful job with it.
There you go.
Yeah,
I love the Italians.
Well,
can't wait to go to March.
Like dumpling. Every culture seems to have some form of dumpling, those things that became ubiquitous.
Yeah, and some form of pancake too. Like everybody has, like for instance, moushu, and then you have the crepes, and then you have pancakes, and everybody has some
you can
kind
make
of
it with everything, from corn,
some kind of a fried dough.
Corn flour, wheat flour, barley flour. You can use pancakes for everything. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that is a good point, Dan. Yeah.
And mustard seed appears in every cuisine because mustard grows all over the world.
Oh.
That's a trivia question. It used to be on, I think, the board game, the Trivia Pursuit, the most widely used condiment on the planet, whatever, and it's mustard seed because it's on it grows naturally on every continent.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. So anyhow, I digress. What's that?
Well, look at that. I love these monthly half hours. It's always fun to see where we wind up.
Yeah, where it leads us to. You're right, Bill.
Who doesn't care about food?
That's right.
I love this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the history of food.
Couldn't live without it.
That'd probably be interesting. A little talking about food display or something. The food of the canola food. Like if there was cooking methods.
At this point, we always like to bring up the pie lock. Lock 51 down in Cutterbackville was known in the latter period as the pie lock because Mary Casey, the wife of the lock tender, was renowned for her pies. We're told they were a savory custard pie that wouldn't be palatable to today's taste, but the pie lock is in canal lore. Everybody wanted to get a pie at the pie lock. I've always thought that we should do more events with. We did do food and wine tasting on the Five Locks Walk a couple of times 4 or 5 years ago, and nothing like having food and drink to get people out. The history was a side note, and we would get people who were just there for the food and drink, but you get them interested in the story while you're at it.
Yeah.
We had a station, Stonebridge Wine and Spirits donated the wine, and Emmanuel's and some other purveyors gave us food, and there were 5 stations, and there was somebody that would tell you a little bit about the canal, serve you a little wine, and give you a little bit of food. And there were 5 stops along the 5 locks. We'll have to, when things get back to normal again and we can do these sorts of things, we'll have to pull that back out and do it. It was a fun event, but you can food and drink always gets people.
Gets people talking.
It does. It does.
Yeah,
Yes.
it unites.
Brings
It's
people together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right.
But my friend Sarah Wasberg Johnson, who works at the Maritime Museum, is also a fairly renowned food historian. She has her own blog and does presentations on the history of food.
Really?
That's interesting. I didn't realize
Shout
that.
out to our
She'd
colleague.
be a good guest.
She'd be a good guest.
Yeah, Sarah would be great. I can.
Yeah, she used to be a regular guest.
Oh, really?
I think with Fred and Fred and Cynthia.
Really? Through the Maritime Museum?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yep.
We got to see if we can get her back. Yeah. Bill, if you talk to her, tell her we want her on the radio. If you ever need a break.
I absolutely. I'll go out of my way. She's a wonderful historian, a great person. They're working on a really wonderful video about the lighthouses along the Hudson. I was fortunate enough to be interviewed. We'll see if I make the final cut on camera for it. But they're producing a video talking about I think they call them the Six Sentinels, the lighthouses along the Hudson River that were so important to the maritime. Again, we get back coming full circle. We were a maritime country, and everything was moved via the river. And eventually, lighthouses through the 19th century were vital to keep maritime transport safe.
They're still vital.
They're still vital.
The Esopus one is critical because of the long bend.
Because the shallow there?
Yeah, the shallow and the long
absolutely.
bend.
Everyone needs it. Small boats, big boats, ships.
In the Maritime Museum, on there, I'll give them another plug since I do every other Sunday tours on their solar power boat, the Solaris, and that we go down the lot to the dam and back, and I talk about all the industries that the D&H basically fostered along the Rondout and what's left of them. But they have a very popular lighthouse tour where you go out on the Solaris, you go out to the lighthouse, you get a tour of the lighthouse, and then you come back out. It's probably their most popular
that would be great, right?
of the Solaris tours.
Yeah, I'd love to. I've always wanted to see the inside of that place.
Well, you can do it. I think they do it weekly during the season on the Solaris, and you get to go on the only solar-powered boat commercially chartered currently. Although people are working on, I think there'll be more and more of that.
Oh,
it's really a hoot to be out on the river on a boat that's completely self-sustaining.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and when you're on it. The person who's speaking and giving you the tour, there's no competition. There's no motor competition. You don't hear a thing.
That's cool.
Except the nature of the environment that you're in.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
And
now, Bill, I wanna...
we hope there's going to be hundreds and hundreds and thousands more boats like that.
Yeah. Well, eventually there will be.
Yeah, there will.
Now, Bill, I want to go on one of those boat rides.
I do
Well,
too. Yes, I said last year.
I haven't got the schedule when I'll be speaking, but there's plenty of great. I was fortunate enough to have Dan and his partner on one of my final voyages last season. But they have a whole series of them. I think Thursdays through Sundays, probably starting in, I'm going to say, from May to October. And I don't know what the schedule will be for me. I've been sort of falling on every other week just so I can do some stuff around my facility as well. But it's really a lot of fun. I always like to say I love my job. When I can just get to go out and yak on the Solaris, and it's an easy gig because people really just want to enjoy the boat too. So I have to keep make sure I don't talk too much.
Well, there's a lot to talk about. I mean,
Yes.
what's not there is incredible, and to try to,
Well, the
Get it
number of
all in.
industries that are represented along there, from the cement, the bluestone, you go along and there's always something to talk about. There are ice houses. There was a whole row of ice houses along with a Beale Street on the, I guess it would be the western edge of Island Dock, if you knew what Island Dock is.
Yeah.
Which is where was the D&H coal depot throughout the
Yeah,
19th century.
which seeing a now and then photographed absolutely blows your mind.
It does.
I
think was
those
Steve
millions
Wallace
of tons
has
of coal
his
piled
book, I
up on
think
that
there's
little
an
island.
Yeah, it was
And that was a
overhead
man-made island.
gantries
That was made in 1845. James Mackenzie gets hired by the canal company, and basically they cut a 40 or 50-foot wide strip, and you can see it today. It's all boat berths opposite that park down, along the round out there. But you see that perfect width, and you can see the remains of the wooden bulkheads, the sides either side. It's clearly man-made. But that was just a sandbar sticking out into the round out. They were sinking, and this always kills me. They were driving pilings 40 and 50 foot into the sands to support the buildings. There was a whole little town. There were all sorts of buildings. There was loading quays. It's all gone. It's an archaeological site now. I noticed during last season there were some people just sort of presumably squatting, camping out on the island.
Yeah.
But
sneak on there.
I'd love to go explore sometime.
Yeah, people sneak on there to fish.
Do they?
Yeah. See people that are fishing.
Yeah, you don't even have to sneak. I mean, it's basically kind of like an extension of a park. I live right
it's
up the
private
street
property.
from there.
It's what's his name's U-boat guy or PT boat guy. There.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't. I'm not thinking of his name right now, but
Gosh,
but it's
Iannucci.
Iannucci.
Bob
Yes.
Iannucci.
Oh yes, wonderful. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But he's basically it's open.
Yeah.
If you want to walk and take your dogs and stuff.
Wow.
You can.
Bill, I hate to wrap it up, but we got to go because I'm sure Nancy will be on time. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it. Happy New Year.
Well,
Yes, Happy New
thank you.
Year.
I look forward to it. Hopefully I'll see you in person next month.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, always a hoot.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
All right.
Thank you,
Great.
sir. All right, Dan, why don't you
Thank
take us
you.
to break?
Good way to put it, Bill. Always a hoot. And thank you, Nina Postupack and Cameron Rylance, for this last half hour of a terrific Tuesday. It's now at the bottom of the hour, and you're with us on Kingston Community Radio, KCR, at AM 920 and 92.5 FM. It is 8:30 a.m., and it's Tuesday, January 4th. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Robert Baum Commercial Realty, located at 79 St. James Street, Kingston, New York. Visit rgbaum.com for more information. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, I'm your host, Smokey Cole Bear. Filling in for Smokey, because after 75 years of...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Turns out there's much more to say. Nearly 90% of wildfires are caused by us humans being careless, dumping our used barbecue coals willy-nilly. Guess the song was wrong. We did start the fire. That's why I respect Mother Nature and her trees, whether coniferous or new car scented. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Diane Eastwick from Athens, New York, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
You're listening to WGHQ, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. It's Tuesday, January 4th, and 13 degrees now here in Uptown Kingston. And you can also tune in online at mykcr.org. Plentiful sunshine today later, and Tuesday night, it's partly cloudy skies with a low of 24. And Wednesday, showers in the morning, then cloudy in the afternoon. A few flurries or snow showers are possible here and there. High of 41 degrees. 40% chance of some precipitation. And Wednesday night, mostly cloudy skies early, becoming partly cloudy late in the evening with a low of 29. And Thursday, partly cloudy with a high of 37 degrees. And Thursday night, cloudy, Snow likely after midnight, a low of 27 degrees. 80% chance of snow accumulating 1 to 3 inches. Now, this upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Rondout Savings. Rondout Savings' approach to community banking puts you and the growth of your business in the front of everything they do. They're a different kind of bank and would like to show you why. Please reach out to one of their expert business bankers for an appointment and let them show what they can do for you. Rondout Savings, always working for you in the community with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park. Also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Let's get back to the on-air studio for this last portion of Terrific Tuesday.
COVID. Good morning. We're back.
Yes, we are back. And we're in the last half hour.
Home stretch, and Nancy Chando will be phoning in any moment. It looks like she's on the phone now, but
yes,
she has a guest. Interesting topic. I got to admit, that's not the right word. I usually have some knowledge of the things Nancy talks about, or I've heard
familiar,
of them before. But her topic today is completely new to me. So
Nancy,
same here. I believe you're with us on the air, right?
Yes, I am. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Nancy. Happy New Year.
I don't know
Happy New Year to you, too. Happy New Year to everyone from Friends of Historic Kingston. And happy birthday, Dan.
There you go.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now, I'm
You're
sure you just heard our intro. I was sort of saying that normally, everyone knows a little bit of history, but you bring a lot about history. But I have never even heard of the name of the gentleman that you're going to talk about today. So
we're finding it very interesting. We can't wait to hear about it.
Enlighten us, because it sounds like a pretty heavy topic.
That's interesting because people at Friends of Historic Kingston hadn't heard this name either until a couple of months ago. And I'll have to tell you how that came about. But if anyone wants to look at the Friends of Historic Facebook page or Instagram, you can see a picture of Laszlo Oxgay, Kingston Schindler, the quiet hero of World War II. And that's our topic for today. I just want to tell you how we found out about this. We didn't know anything about this man either, who is a hero of World War II, and I'll tell you his story in a few minutes. But Friends of Historic Kingston gets so many requests and so many questions that we need to answer. And Jane Keller is very good at fielding these questions, finding answers in the archives or the library. But sometimes they don't have the answer, and she'll refer it off to another member of Friends who might help. And so a couple of months ago, I got an email from Jane about Laszlo Oxgay. It seems that a man from Cleveland, Ohio, named George Ponte, had sent an email to City Hall. He needs to come to Kingston to find the grave of Laszlo Oxgay, who is buried in Kingston. Can you help? Well, they didn't know what to do with it, so it was forwarded to Friends of Historic Kingston, and then it was forwarded to me. And I like to do this kind of research, and I'm involved with the Genealogical Society, so I got on it right away. And the first place I went was findagrave.com, because you can usually find graves right there, but he wasn't listed. So then I had to start searching further and made a visit to the Ulster County Genealogical Society, and with some of my connections there, we found an online obituary. And it found that this man, we found out, was born in Hungary in 1893, lived through the World War II in Hungary, and died in 1966 in Kingston. So I said, I need to find out more about him. But I did go to the Genealogical Society and find his grave from information I could get there, and he was buried in St. Mary's Cemetery in Kingston.
Okay,
So
is his it's still
yeah,
legit? His headstone, tombstone, he's in fact interred there?
Yes, he is.
Okay,
And
okay.
well, I found it with the internment book at for St. Mary's, but it wasn't easy. He kind of was listed under a different name, but I was able to find that through looking at his obituary from the Daily Freeman in 1966. So let me tell you a little bit about this man. He was born in Hungary in 1893 and lived in Hungary his whole life. In World War I, he was captain of the Royal Hungarian Army, so many people called him Captain Oxgay. He was injured during World War I but survived. And after World War I, he was employed by the American Vacuum Oil Company, which transported oil into Germany. And that was an important connection because it helped him get to America after the war with that connection. But during World War II, he volunteered to serve, again, with the intention to help persecuted Jews. He became commander of the 101-359 Jewish Forced Labor Battalion, which was collecting, mending, and making clothing for the German army. eventually there were about 2,500 people under Oxgay's protection, and he tried to provide for them and hid food, medicine, and even documents for them. And during the war, he maintained a relationship with German occupying forces. And in January of 1945, with the help of the Waffen SS forces stationed in Budapest, he managed to drive away members of the Hungarian Arrow Cross Party who were about to execute thousands of Jews by shooting them into the Danube. I found that online. So against company policy, Oxgay allowed many escapees from other forced labor unions or units to survive and come to his labor unit. He then would hide some of them in his home, and his home started to be used as the headquarters for the International Red Cross.
Now, I mean to interrupt, but a clarification. He was like being forced to do this by the occupying German army? Like
No, he was not forced to do this. He was just working to kind of the manager of this labor place, labor battalion, and they were working on mending and making uniforms for the German army. But underground, he was doing his own work of trying to save people from other labor camps.
Yeah, but the above ground work, shall we say, that was under, because Hungary was occupied by the Nazis, so it was
he had a relationship with the German occupying force.
Okay, huh.
Yes,
okay.
They knew he was working for the company to keep their uniforms going.
Okay.
But underground, he was doing other things. He opened his home to be part of the International Red Cross. And Raoul Wallenberg, who's a well-known Swedish diplomat who rescued thousands of Jews, is known to have operated some of the time from Captain Oxgay's home. And he was even hidden in Captain Oxgay's home before being captured by Soviet troops. So Captain Oxgay continued to persevere in his efforts to protect the lives and safety of those in his camp and others as long as he could until the Soviet liberation of the labor camps. Then after World War II, Oxgay was not that friendly received by the communists who took over his country and his hometown. They started to persecute him for his military past and his American connections.
Do you know, was he Jewish as well?
No, he was not. He was Catholic.
Okay.
And I'll tell you more about that as he gets to his Kingston connection. But there was no attempt to honor Oxgay because he was in a communist country at that time. And, in fact, he was starting to be harassed. So he finally escaped to Austria, and then in 1948 he escaped to Austria and emigrated to the USA. Then there's a period of time I couldn't find about him, but in 1956 he shows up living in Kingston, New York, at 176 Wall Street. He was living with his son George, his daughter-in-law Helen, and a granddaughter Elizabeth. Now, in 1956, what I could find out about him is he was a quiet man. He did not have a great command of the English language, and he was working as a night watchman at a local mill. So I went to the Kingston directories to see what mills were in that area, and there was a Kingston knitting mill at 131 Cornell Street and Colonial Knitwear at Pine Grove Avenue. We don't know which one he worked at, but it's probably likely that he walked to work in one of these mills every night, walked back home in the morning, was a night watchman, and he was known to walk his granddaughter, Elizabeth, to Catholic school every day. So he lived on Wall Street, so that would likely have been St. Joseph's School, close by. His home at 176 was between Warren Street and St. James Street on Wall Street. I went up and looked at it. It's still there.
On
So
what?
he
Warren
was
St.
living
James.
his life in Kingston, a quiet man, and as far as I know, there was not a lot of information that people knew about him. If anybody knew him or they have more information to share, please call Friends of Historic Kingston. We would love to have some more info on him.
Call now, 331-9255, if anyone has ever heard of this gentleman, because, I mean, wow, what a lifetime.
Yeah, so in the meantime, there is this George Ponte is looking for his grave, and he found out about it because he's from Hungary, and he saw a plaque in his elementary school on the wall about this Laszlo Oxgay. He now lives in the United States, and he wants to honor Oxgay. So he was contacted by a man who was one of the Jews that was protected by Oxgay, and his name was Daniel Danieli. He was living in the United States after the war. He went back to Hungary on a visit and looked around for people that were honored for protecting the Jews, and he never saw Oxgay having any honor. So he came back to the USA and decided he made it his life's work to make Oxgay better known and get some of the honors that he deserved.
Wow.
And that's how the information came about. So this man was living a quiet life in Kingston.
So,
however, when he died in 1966, his obituary did say the funeral was attended by some members of the Jewish congregation. So there was some information out at that time.
So what do you know? What year the survivor started looking into him?
He started looking into him, I believe it was late 1990s.
Okay.
And that survivor in California told his congressional representative about it, and his congressional representative from California read Oxgay's story in the U.S. House of Representatives, a part of the congressional record. Then the story started to become much better known. By 2003, our local congressional representative, Maurice Hinchey, read the Oxgay story into the House of Representatives congressional record as well. He read a quite lengthy speech on Tuesday, April 8th, 2003, about Captain Oxgay into the congressional record for our district. And I think that was because in late April of 2003, Captain Oxgay was posthumously awarded the Righteous Among Nations Medal of Honor from the State of Israel and Yad Vashem, given to his descendants at Temple Emmanuel at Albany Avenue in Kingston. So that was a huge honor.
Yeah, a state,
Captain
a state award from.
Yes.
What year was that, Nancy?
That was in 2003, posthumously awarded.
Okay.
Now, in 1966, he was given a gold medal by the president of Hungary at that time. I have other honors as well. He was recognized by the National Jewish Monthly for saving over 2,000 Jews. They think up to 2,500. His name is on the Wall of Honor in Jerusalem, along with Oskar Schindler, Reb Wallenberg, thanks to Daniel Danieli, the person that he saved and ended up in California. So his story was read into the Congressional Record of the United States Congress twice. And I found in April of 2003 there was also a Daily Freeman article about him called Remembering a Hero of the Holocaust. So he started getting his accolades and his awards posthumously, but during his time here in Kingston, he was a quiet man who worked as a night watchman and, helped take care of his granddaughter and walk her to school every day. And finally, his story became known, and finally he was honored. But it was after his death. But his survivors were so proud, and his picture is on our Facebook page. I did find that grave. I went to St. Mary's Cemetery after I found his name in the book, and they called him Laszlo Oxgay D. Osko. I guess Osko is the town that he was from, so D. Osko would mean of that town. It was filed under St. Mary's Cemetery under D. Osko, so I had trouble finding him at first. But then I found the name, and I went there and walked up and down the section where it's listed in the book where he's buried, walking up and down every row, looking and looking. Finally, I saw a small marker that says Laszlo Oxgay D. Osko, 1893 to 1966, with just a dash in the middle. And you think about what occurred in that dash in the middle. He had such a life that was so heroic and saved so many people, but you would never know seeing this very simple gravestone.
Yeah, I mean, to be in Hungary during World War I and then surviving World War II.
Right.
Crazy. That's a movie. That's a Tom Hanks movie.
That is.
You're right. Yes, I know. The whole story could make a movie.
Absolutely.
His son George stayed in Kingston, and I found his son George is buried in Montepost Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
There is a granddaughter. I believe she may live in the Newburgh area at this time, but I haven't been able to contact her yet. But we've been writing up this story, which sounds like it really is almost like a movie. He did some wonderful things during the war, but he wasn't bragging about them. He wasn't coming here telling everyone his story. He was living a quiet life with his family.
A humble person. It'd be interesting to find out if it was, because on Pine Grove Avenue, that would have been the Fuller Building, right?
I believe
That's
so.
the mill.
And Cornell Street, I'm not sure which one that was. So we don't know which mill he worked at, but I looked at the U.S. Census just said he was night watchman at a mill.
Well, it'd just be interesting if that could be ascertained, because that's, if it was Scott Dutton's building, that's almost worthy of, a marketing.
Oh, that's
point,
right.
you
That's
know,
right.
and,
That's a good idea.
Or a historical marker in Cornell Street or whatever, you know. So
Yes,
to
if
me
we could
that's-
research further and find out which mill he worked
Yeah.
at when he lived in Kingston. And he was night watchman, so I can just imagine he likely would have walked to work and walked home in the morning, and was happily living out his life here in Kingston,
Nice and
very
quiet.
quietly,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not telling everybody all of the things that he did. So I'm glad to take this time to honor this man a little bit further by telling his story here at Friends of Historic Kingston. And it just goes to show you what happens when you start researching something. We had no idea it was going to lead to this famous history, famous to many people, but unknown to us, that he lived here in Kingston for so many years.
Absolutely.
I was just going to say that the one aspect of this whole story is the fact that a name that really was not familiar to anyone when you received that letter a couple months ago, whenever you received it. Now there's a whole story and a history of this gentleman and this individual that lived in our community.
Hero.
Yeah. So Nancy, really,
And
due to your
I
research.
wrote back to this original man who contacted us, this George Ponte from Cleveland, Ohio, wrote back to him through email, sent him pictures of the gravestone, sent him the section number and the plot number of St. Mary's Cemetery and the address of it. And he wrote back, said, "I'm shaking with chills at the information you provided." He's so happy to have this information now, and he's going to come to Kingston in a few months, and he wants to come to Friends of Historic Kingston and meet with us and then visit the grave and honor this man from his hometown.
You know, if that coincides with this Tuesday, that would be fantastic. We'd love to have him.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? If he's in town
that
on
would be really
Tuesday,
cool.
we can ask him to tune on the radio.
To
and
join
he
us.
probably would, because he wants to get this information out. He wants this man to have honors. But fortunately, so many honors were given to him posthumously. And I'm glad that he was recognized through the efforts of one of the men he saved,
this
Daniel
that
Dan
would be
Yellen.
really-
And
that'd
that
be
filtered
cool.
through to this man, George Ponte. I could tell by his emails to me, the man from Ohio has a little broken English as well. So he's also Hungarian, living in Ohio, and wanted this man to be honored. He's coming to Kingston in a few months to go to St. Mary's Cemetery and visit that ground. I will meet him if he wants me to show him where it is. Although I took pictures from many different angles so he can get the location. And talk to him. And if we can find out any more information about Laszlo's life in Kingston before George from Ohio comes here, I would like that. So if you know anybody who knew this man when he lived on Wall Street, or what mill he worked at, please call Friends of Historic Kingston. We'd like to have this all written down, and when this man comes from Ohio, we'll be taking him to St. Mary's and maybe even on the radio. Who knows?
Yeah.
right.
Now, did you say 176 Wall Street?
Yes,
Okay.
176 Wall Street. I rode past looking for the house, actually. It's a big gray two-family house.
Oh, yeah, I know which one it is. 'Cause that's almost
Yeah.
back-to-back with mine.
Oh, is
On
it?
Fair Street.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a few
Yeah,
houses
it's
down, yeah.
between Warren and St. James as I was riding down the street, and I got out and took a picture of the house.
Yeah.
So I have pictures of the gravestone, pictures of his house, and his daughter, I know, was going to Catholic school, most likely, and granddaughter, most likely St. Joseph's, and she also graduated from St. Ursula Academy.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, so it's very interesting. He had a very nice life here in Kingston. We're glad that he came here and was able to live his life in peace with his family. Died at the age of 72 in 1966.
And there was no indication what brought him to Kingston that you know of?
No, I couldn't find that connection. All I knew is he left Europe in 1948, and then the first connection here that I could find was 1956. But if anybody knew him or has any further information, please let us know.
Maybe a family connection that oftentimes draws people to a certain place, or at least a cultural connection.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know
actually,
of any...
I think his son was living in Kingston before he came here.
There we go.
So I don't know of any,
So I don't know how the son... I don't know what the connection was for his son arriving in Kingston, but the son was here first.
Nancy, do you have any connections with for instance, his granddaughter?
I don't. I'm looking for that now.
Yeah.
And I found some hints that she may be living in Newburgh, so we can follow up on that a little bit.
Yeah, what a
And maybe
developing
some
legacy.
people that might
Yeah.
have known her when she lived in Kingston
Yeah.
and have some more information.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a big Hungarian population around here, is there? Or at the time? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
don't
a
know, but
church,
that's how I
or,
know
you
he
know.
was Catholic, and she went to Catholic school, so I assume that he was walking her to St. Joseph's School. So he was not Jewish, but he was saving the Jews, and his job was being in charge of that factory with the clothing, mending and making the German uniforms. And so he found he could use that to save people
Yeah.
and hide them and move them on to safety. And he did that quietly without any thanks at the end of the war, just coming here to live out his life.
Yeah.
Nancy, I'm looking at the Facebook page and the pictures you have of him on the Facebook page. Where did all those photos come from?
They came from an internet site with a story about him.
Okay.
And one of them he has, it looks like his captain's uniform
Yeah.
on with a hat.
So that was obviously.
And he looks like a very distinguished gentleman.
That was obviously in Hungary, and the larger one is obviously after the war. He looks much older. You know, he looks.
Yes. And I have another picture of him sitting with his son as well when his son was much younger. So, but I couldn't find any pictures of him with his family, his granddaughter, although she was interviewed for an article that I read online. And so it's a very interesting story about a man that lived his life right here in Kingston who was a hero.
Yeah.
And we knew nothing about it until we got an email. So you never know where this little search could lead you, you know?
Yeah.
Nancy, is there, what was I going to ask? Oh, my heavens, I've,
Mental
it
moment.
It escaped me for a second. I
But that's
think
just,
that,
you know,
the big question, I think, is the other stories of people that know him. And that's really what you're reaching out for, and that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, that would be great if we could get some more information. And the fact that this man wants to come here from Cleveland, Ohio, is amazing, too. He thinks so much of this man, and he knew this Daniel Danieli, who wanted to make it his life's work to honor Laszlo Oxgay. And so George is coming here in a few months, and hopefully
that's cool.
we can meet with him. He wants to come to Friends of Historic Kingston, and I could do a follow-up story on what happened when we get to visit.
Yeah, that would be great.
No, it's just an example of Laszlo walking to work every night and his daughter to school. You know, you just pass somebody on the street, and to this day that can happen.
Right.
You
How would you never know he was a hero?
never know
Also, when
what-
he was living in Kingston, I found hints that he used the name Leslie. So he might have Americanized his first name a little bit. That's another reason I had trouble finding information at first. Leslie Diosco or Laszlo Oxgay, those were the names that he went by. So if someone knew a Leslie Oxgay, that is the same man.
But you never know what people have lived through or live through.
Right, and even
so
people
wild.
that worked at that mill, they never knew this night watchman that came in at night, and left in the morning or walked his granddaughter to school was the man who did such great deeds during the war.
Yeah,
So you never know until you start researching,
Yeah, that's
and
so cool.
you never know what kind of story is going to pop up.
Well,
Nancy, does Steve Blauweiss know about this story?
No, I haven't spoken to Stephen about that. Maybe he saw it on our Facebook page.
I'm just putting
today.
it out there.
His next book.
Yeah, good idea. It's a good
Movie.
book. Or,
there
well,
you
there
go.
are several
Movie.
books written about him. And there's also a play. There's a high school in Hungary who wrote a play about him and acted out the play in their school called Being Human. The book is called Captain Oxgay, the Lost Hero of the Darkest Days by Gergely Silve from Hungary. And like I said, his name is on the Wall of Honor with Schindler, Wallenberg in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
So he did get his honors a little too late for him to be able to enjoy, but it sounds like he's a man who was unassuming anyway, maybe a quiet man who liked to keep it that way.
Yeah. Obviously he did. So.
And I thought it would be nice for that story to come out, and we could honor him here on this show today.
Well, I appreciate it. I learned
absolutely.
something really neat.
Learned something new today.
This guy lives in my neighborhood. Lived.
Yeah,
Yes,
lived in your
he
neighborhood.
could have been your neighbor if you were living there at the time. Yeah, take a look at the house when you go home
Yeah,
today.
I'm totally gonna.
And,
I may know somebody that lives
give
there.
a
That's
little
what I'm
salute
thinking.
to Captain Oxgay, the hero, the Schindler of Kingston, and the quiet hero of World War II.
Yeah. That's awesome. Great. Well, Nancy, we are at the top of our hour. So I want to thank you very much for joining us today and
Thank you so much.
giving us this program. It was awesome. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to use our time today to honor Captain Oxgay, and I appreciate that.
Well, perfect. So, listen, everybody, thanks for listening.
Yes, have a
Nina,
terrific Tuesday.
good luck this
Cameron.
week. And Dan, thank you. Happy birthday
Happy
again.
birthday. Enjoy your day, Dan.
Remember, it's Dan's birthday. Give him a hard time.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Thank you, Nancy.
All right, Dan. Have a terrific Tuesday, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you, Nina Postupack, Cameron Rylance, and all our guests, Heidi Kirschner and Bill Merchant and Nancy Chando. Thank you so much for extremely revealing and inspiring discussions of, by, and for the community of Ulster County. And this last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank, always working for you and our community with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park, also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. And we invite you to be with us tomorrow morning for a Super Wednesday. And until tomorrow, we wish you every success in growing and developing Kingston and all our neighboring communities. We now return you to Magic 92.5.